Indeed, a bit late, but nevertheless, we're still on. Thank you very much for joining us on TalkSports, our weekend program. A bit late, I said, because we had there's a little technical difficulties. I'm not sure if it's related to the cloud strike, but something went wrong. And however, glad to be on, knowing that you are on. And so many things have been going on for the day so far, monitoring quite a bit. Whew, cricket, Diamond League, athletics. We also had I was looking at some golf, Open Championships, quite a bit going on. Good afternoon to you. Well, good morning to you, Rudian, belatedly. And welcome to Talk Sports. And certainly,
Good morning to you, sir.
I'm certain you had a belly full. I don't know if you were on the Diamond League today, but certainly a
I,
belly full.
I wasn't on, but I saw some clips on.
Oh, you saw some clips, yeah.
Yeah, I saw some clips. Yeah, I wasn't on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oof.
A lot.
Yeah,
A lot.
quite a lot. And
There's some eye opening.
yes, some of the performances definitely.
Yeah.
It's I agree, eye opening, right? Well, closer to home, at least at home. We saw Kirani finished fifth,
Yeah.
but it was a very fast 400
Race.
meters,
Yes,
right?
it was.
It is such that season's best, personal best for the first 5-6 athletes, right? Kirani
Yep.
finished fifth, and it was a season best, meaning that he keeps improving. But I was very happy for Hudson Smith, right? The Briton, yeah.
My question is, can he maintain it for the
Well,
next, 3 weeks?
he's
Month?
showing some level of consistency, I must say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because he's also improving. He didn't just do a quick thing and that's it, but he
Mhm.
shows that he's improving.
Yeah.
Incidentally, he did a 43.74, which is Kirani's personal best. Kirani did that in the Diamond League some years ago, 43.74 to be exact. That's Kirani's personal best. But that 400 meters, he's just showing that 400 meters will be a race to.
It'll be really interesting. It's next 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It will certainly be it's gonna be certainly be good.
Then we have the 400 meters hurdles, the women's hurdles. Then we have the 400 meters women, and not just the men, but the 400 meters.
That was a race. It's like we talk about in the past about how some athletes sort of pick later on or start moving later on, and that could be what this is. So it could be something later on to see what's happening in the next 3 weeks, but I hope that they can maintain it. And like I said, it's a very fast race. And if it's maintained and it continue, we could definitely see maybe a 47 from the female. I mean, we are getting closer and closer to it, right? So certainly Jamaica continue to show that they are, to talk about in not only in the 100 and the 200, but now in the 400 suddenly. So quite and they become now, they put themselves now as a threat to win the women's, to be in the mix of top three in the 4x4.
Okay. But that said, what's about the 200 meters? Did you see that 200 meters women? Well, listen, Dina Asher-Smith from the UK had a very good start. She came around the bend.
She always do.
Actually,
She always do.
Well, yeah, that's true. And then it was Alfred of St. Lucia and Gabby of the USA that was actually chasing her, right? And I'm telling you, For folks who haven't seen that, they need to look at it. That's all I can say.
Listen, it is going to be
You need to look at it.
but like we keep saying it again, it's something that the women is doing in not only in athletics but sports on a whole that I certainly believe.
Edwin says the owning to plant is a sure thing at the upcoming games. Yeah, but I mean, and I mean, it's fair to
Mm,
say that because he has been dominating the
performance.
pole
Yeah,
vault,
yeah,
and we haven't
yeah.
seen. As a matter of fact, he is the old. I mean, he
The
has.
only one.
Yeah,
And that's in the past few years. It has been
yeah,
just him.
he.
Yeah.
That's and I mean, and for him to lose that is because he didn't want to win it, right?
Yeah.
I would say that. And well, Nigel is saying good morning to you, Nigel. Bowl is ridiculous. I'm telling you, folks, have your popcorn, your whatever soda you plan to have, because I'm telling you, the track and field of the Olympic Games will be a bomber. And
And
we
it's not
should not
only
miss.
in the finals, right? I think
No, 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 no,
from
certainly.
the heats, because you will see some people running in the heats and the semifinals for their life, because you have to run to make the finals.
Well, listen, that's a thing. That's what will
Yeah,
happen. And mind
yeah,
you, some of the experienced athletes may have to be very cautious about that,
very cautious.
because
Yeah,
they may tend to believe that they have it in the bag, they they trot in and tread in and things like that. So, and there will be those athletes who know that, hey, I have to make it into whether
hmm,
it's the semifinals or whatever. I am going hard, right?
you good,
I
huh?
have
Yeah,
I have another day or two to recuperate, right? So
yeah,
I will
yeah.
go hard, and
The only race I didn't get to see. I don't know if you have a results on how I think Mo did yesterday. I was watching a little bit, but then I had to run out. I didn't get a chance to see how she performed yesterday.
that would have been at the Holloway.
Holloway, yeah, in Florida, yeah,
Yeah, because that's where
yeah. I didn't see the results. Yeah, I didn't see the results in how she
that,
did.
that's where this little, well, it's Quincy. I mean, I don't know what to say about that little guy. He's only what 16, 17 years. He broken the world under 18 record 3 times
Okay.
so far. This is so ridiculous. I don't know what to say. Which
Well,
event you
I
were
look at it.
referring to?
If the 800 women.
Ooh, 800 women. Let me see. The Quincy did 44-20, 44-20. Quincy Wilson. Could you imagine that? He is under 18. Um, yeah. I don't know. I mean, seriously, I don't know what to say. I'm giving him a couple more. The women's 800 meters, 158.19 from Kenya, Dhaka CY. Um, That's the women's 800 meters. Wiley of the USA, second, 158.71. Move finished actually fifth, 2 minutes 29. Yeah, fifth. Yeah, that's where Move finished, fifth. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
She
the,
haven't
the
been competing, right? So the idea that she didn't make the Olympics, it's not as yeah. It'd be always nice to defend, but it's was guaranteed after we see this now that she could have won the US trials.
mhm.
Um, there is none because she actually, I think that was her first meet at the US trials. Uh, um, so so yeah, that's what it is in the sport. You have
Yeah,
to be competing, right?
yeah, well, yes, you have to be.
You have to
There's
be
no ifs and
competing,
buts
man.
about
You have to
that.
be,
You have to be
yeah, you have
competing.
to be
If you're
competing,
not
and if you're
competing,
not,
that's it. Um,
on
this
the
was
name
the
alone, you'll be
final of
out
the
of
yeah, this was the
400.
final of the
Yeah,
men's 400, right?
yeah.
In fact, Jeremy Richards of Trinidad and Tobago actually finished third in that, as you can see there. He's
Yeah.
in the third place. Yeah, he finished third in that event there. Let me see who again I can get there for in any other positions there. Let me see. Oops, yeah. So it was, you know, fairly much um a tough one, but athletes will have an opportunity to gauge where they are now in preparation for for the
Yeah. For the
how do we
games,
say
yeah, for the Olympics, yeah,
for the big dance, as we would say,
yeah,
the big
yeah,
dance,
yeah,
yeah. So all for now, they're sort of gauging themselves and getting themselves, and knowing what to do. They have a couple, well, for some will be a couple weeks, for others will be, because I think that some of them may go into some other events, before as trying to get themselves warm up and things like that. So certainly it will be an opportunity for some of them to go back to what they say, the drawing board, and get themselves, organized, as they would say, and get
yeah.
ready for the
And
for the big one.
when we go back to the days of the boat era, we always had at least a pretty decent you know uh heat sheets, or even finals with the names, and I think we are getting back there, in terms of not necessarily on times, but in terms of competition. I think that's what's happening with this Olympic Games. It's just like
Mhm.
it's so open, um, and it's competition of in the time we are in. Not necessarily going to go there and break world record and do this, and all those things. It's just in the competition is fairly, um, going back to the days of the Bolt and the Gatling, and all those guys, and them. I'm
Yeah,
certainly think that the competition is like that. If you go back, and going way back to the days of the Carl Lewis and the Ben Johnson and those guys and them too, the competition itself, I'm not necessarily saying they're going to run a world record, but just the competition itself is very, very competitive. Even back then, Arthur Bolton and those guys, it was very hard to make a finals. And I think that's what we are seeing now. It's very, very hard to do that. And the same thing in the women, the Gail Devers, the Molinati, and all of those. It was quite competitive at the same time. Back then, I think that's what we are in that time. Whatever time they're going to run, we don't know yet. But in terms of the competition that we have now, the talent that we have now, I think we are looking at that kind of era of
yeah.
competition. Yeah.
Um. So, well, it also, um, to an extent, brings into context the tactics, techniques, whatever we want to call it, for some of these athletes going into their respective events. And by the way, Rudian, we know in some instances some of them are doing multi events. When I say multi,
Multi-events, yeah.
like the double. Some of them
Yeah.
doing three events, the
Mm.
one, the two, and a relay, right?
Really, yeah.
Yeah, which,
And they might be in a position where they might do the hits and the finals.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to say
So,
that
yeah.
this
So you're looking at
this
some of them
this
might be
would
end
be,
up doing eight. They might be running, like what, say 8 races.
yeah. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying there, how do you? I mean, and when I say how do you, in terms of the coaches, the team management itself,
Yeah.
some of them, because remember, some of them are traveling with an entourage. Obviously, when
Yes. Yes. Yes.
when you travel,
Certainly.
they travel
Yeah.
with entourage.
Yeah.
So then they have people decide making decisions, etc., and things like that. So, but
Hmm. There's a
ultimately,
lot of.
it comes out.
You're going to find a lot of this in this time,
Yeah,
because of the time we are living with, and people educate themselves, with certain um, aspects in a job, and whatever they choose to study. You're going to find a lot of, you have a lot of physio. We're going to have a lot of psychologists. and a lot of those athletes will have individually might have their own psychologists with them, talking to them, um, on their mental state going in and after the run and preparation, and they all have their personal physio with them who, you know. So there's a lot of things will happen. You like if you would be there, there'll be so much massaging and stuff has been taking place after this game. It will, a few ice baths and a few other things is certainly will be taking place, because of what the level of competition that we are faced with now, that of how much they may have to put out, and certainly where they are mentally, going into. Yeah, remember, we look at Shikari. Let's use her for an example. All she have is the two events, compared to Jackson, who has three. So a lot of this is a big difference in terms of the preparation too.
Yeah.
One have to prep themselves not only for one, but you prep yourself for the 100 meters, and then you have to get ready to prep yourself for the 200 meters. When something like her, all she have is the 100 meters, and then the relay is a team. So it's not like you have to a psychologist for that. It's a team. But in terms of the individual race, which is most people focus on their individual race, that's the job. Most of them, especially sponsorship, that's what they are being paid for. That's what sponsorship has sponsored them to do. That event really is not a part of a sponsorship.
Yeah.
So they really focus on that. And I know athletes here in the years when Canada could have a pretty decent 4x4 team. One specific 800-meter runner, his name is just not there right now. And he was pretty running fairly well. And when they go to certain games, he said he's not running the 4x4 because he don't have to. He said, I'm not sponsored to run a 4x4. I'm only sponsored to do the 800. My focus is the 800. And he was running 144.
And you're saying there wasn't anything they could have probably done?
Nothing they could have done. Nothing. Yeah. Because I know when you get to a certain place, you make your decision that, you sit down with your coaches and so forth. That's not what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here for. So a lot of this stuff is there too. And so you'll find a lot of that. So psychologists, you'll find a lot of doctors out there, with the team, but also with individually, after events. They'll just do the quiet sit down and talking. A lot of this stuff, mentoring, will take place this time, more than you have ever seen. Okay, for some interesting part of these games, it could be one of the best competition-wise Olympics ever.
Well, providing that everything lives up to the billing, right, and things like that. So,
and even going back to soccer, especially on the women's side, the domination of the U.S. is no longer there no more. And even with Canada, that domination that they used to have, when you go in with gold and silver kind of thing, that no longer there. You have the Colombia, you have the Spanish teams, you have all those teams, and them start investing in that sport, and they do the best they can, get the best coaches, get the best everything, and is seeing the results of that. Yes, we kind of look at basketball, and we're not even sure if the NBA men would win. We believe, we have that hope in us. Yes, they are some of the best guys, but there's no guarantee that, because other teams have done the investment, other teams have done, so we've seen a lot of the sports where, there we don't have another Michael Phelps. We know when you get into the water, he's a Phelps, but there is, so we don't have those athletes then. So that's where the competition itself is going to be very tense, and that goes across the board, not only sticking with one specific sport, multiple sports. And if the US do not come out on top in this Olympics, it's not surprising.
Yeah, this is the photo finish of the women's 200 meters of so Gabby actually, winning on the line, say she won on the line, right? And that's where Dina was actually third. Well, first of all, Alfred from Solution was second.
Well, yeah.
Dina, and then Nita.
Both of them. So, the both British is right there, for third and fourth. Yeah. And even you see this Gabi, I've been watching her come around, and I'm saying, is she hurt? What is going on with her? And now you're seeing the tactics that the coaches have been using with her, and now you're seeing she's actually running now. Because previously I was like, what's going on with her? Is she hurt? She's not running like like herself. She's not running, but then that was part of the plan. And here we are now. We're seeing it getting closer to the Olympics. That you see this start. That's when the
Yeah.
buckle has to get loose,
So
and certainly we'll see that, right?
that was the actual result. Gabby
Ooh.
Thomas was a meet record 21.82.
Mm-hmm.
Alfred from St. Lucia, a national record 21.86. Asha Smith 22.07, season's best. Nita 22.20, season's
Mm-hmm.
best. So the top five actually
Top
posted
five
season
as
best.
personal season best, yeah.
Season best, right?
So it's definitely, like I said, it becoming really interesting, and a lot of those athletes that you hope to be in the lineup is not even there. So
yeah. And then
yeah.
over into
And
the men's 100 meters, the results were Niles did a personal best of 9.81, personal best. Sabine, South Africa, a season best of 9.86. Tiboro of Botswana, a national record 9.88.
mm-hmm.
And then Hinchcliffe of the UK 9.97. And then you have Akeem Blake of
Yeah,
um,
Jamaica.
of the Jamaica 9.97. So there again, the top five, sub 10, sub 10. Homeboy Hughes, Zanel Hughes, 10
Mm-hmm.
seconds flat, season's best.
Flat, yeah.
Yeah. Johan Blake continues to
Do his thing.
well, and it
Yeah.
continues. Some people ask, they don't know how come, how Blake is still, Johan in particular is still in the on the circuit, ahead of so
Good
many
management.
other.
Good management.
Well, yeah, we know that,
How
but
about that? It's good
how
management. So then
how
guys go there and
else
get the money,
how
right?
else he is ahead of so many of other
Some of the
talented,
other
yeah,
talented, yeah. It's
yeah,
good management.
yeah. But as you say, um, it has to do with good management. There's a comment there from Edwin. Do we think the distance races should be reduced to a 10-person final to avoid the recent falls? Yeah, that was a big clash. Um, and if I don't know if I doubt that will take place now, because the feel for the various events already named and everything like that. There's no changes that can be made now. That can be made now. Sorry, but certainly it's sometimes just too crowded.
It is. It
It's
certainly
too
is.
crowded,
It's too crowded, yeah. But
and
because it's such a
listen,
long race,
you had almost half of the field,
yeah.
clashing and stumbling and falling into each other.
And these
You
guys and
know,
them, and certainly if you're not
it,
smart, these guys and them coming, and they definitely coming to push you. That's they coming to make sure that I don't get hurt, I don't fall, so somebody else is gonna go down and not me. So
yeah,
there's a lot of pushing and stuff are taking place, and if they get caught, they get caught, right? And they get disqualified. If not, they'll win one, right? And a lot of
yeah,
things can happen. People get punches, people get all these things that
those guys,
nobody will see,
yeah,
right?
come on.
Yeah, yeah,
In a big bunch like that, so many things can happen. Then
yeah. So
then
you almost want to say that I need
you're
to be in the
punching,
front. I need to be in the front for the first 800 kind of thing. You need to get out and move away from the pack for that first race. But it's a little bit too crowded, um, and that level for that race it is too crowded. I've seen 24 in a 800 in some races in the US. Like they literally have 24 in the 800 because of timing and maybe how many people they have, and they just run it like that. But 10, maybe 12. Maybe 12, maybe not 10, maybe 12, and they will do
yeah,
three heats, and you go, and if there is a heat, then you go top four in the heat qualified, top two.
yeah. But somehow they I could understand the interest shown in the long distance races, right?
Mhm.
And when it comes to the steeplechase, the 1,500, the 3,000, the
1500,
5,000,
3000. Yeah, yeah.
this sort of thing. Because even the 800 sometimes I still find it a bit crowded, right? Because these days the 800 is almost like a sprint again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the good thing about it now, it cut down to eight in the 800. So which is good. Everybody have their lane for the first 100 meters, kind of thing. So it's not too bad.
Um, I don't want to. I know we spent some time on that, but I just wanted to spend a little couple minutes on the autobiography written by Junior Murray, right? In fact, I have my copy of my book, Win Ball to Windies by Junior Murray. And certainly it's for those who involve in well, not just cricket, but who wants, for those who want, yeah,
a nice read.
but not just, and I'm saying for those who want also to get an insight into the life of Junior Murray, because you see, Junior is the type who has been very quiet. On the quiet side. Junior does not give interviews as others. Let's say, for example, like a Brian Lara and others who have played in Excel and things like that. So Junior has moved on. He has the quiet side. He's coaching. He has his cricket academy. But there's some things in it that will interest you and get a sort of glimpse into what he actually what went on while he was a cricketer. In fact, Junior actually said that while there was the notion, I should say, that they were professional cricketers. In truth and in fact, they were not professional cricketers when he was playing, because they were only paid per match.
Yeah.
So when Junior is not playing, even though he is referred to as a West Indies cricketer, right? And he's waiting to be selected to go on a tour or whatever it is. No pay, So now, I mean, compared to now where you have the retainer and things like that, so guys are being paid, right? And even if they don't have a retainer, they're playing T20 and other franchise cricket, and those things basically keeping them going because guys, for example, let's say a guy plays in the IPL, and then after IPL he goes to Sri Lanka, like where what's his name, Andre Fletcher is playing now, or he is in the US because they have the Major League Cricket going on in the US, and then after that CPL, after CPL, probably Big Bash, So now, so many franchise cricket being played around the world that cricketers can now decide, hey, I want to retire from Test cricket. I want to play franchise cricket. I'm making myself available for franchise cricket, which means the opportunity to make more money. Compared to when they were playing, Murray and they were playing, they only got match fees. And in some instances, remember, you can be charged based on certain things that will happen. Because, cricket is considered a gentleman's game. And, there are certain things you can do, certain things you can say, you cannot say, and 20% of your match fee, blah, 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 all these sort of things. I even was reading part of Brian Lara's book where you were saying that he was, charged.
Yeah.
Match fees. Because why? Because he broke the curfew, I think that so 20% of his match fee. So, but seriously, so he spoke about when he was a boy, his coaches, his debut, the Adelaide Test, Perth, because he had a very good season in Australia. And then he also talked about his failures. When he was dropped, he was brought back into the Test team. Well, he was brought back onto the team, the West Indies team, and he failed again. And then he was at that time we used to say discarded, because the phrase used to be discarded West Indies keeper batsman Junior Murray, discarded West Indies keeper. I don't know, and things like that. So, but you get a good insight into, and I'm encouraging folks who And people have been asking me what contribution I made to the book. But all I will say, it's a good read. It's good reading, right? It's good reading. Yeah, it's good reading. And he spoke about some of the folks who have been instrumental in his physical, because one thing about Junior Murray, he's very physical. He takes the whole issue of physical very serious. In fact, there was a complaint about Junior Murray some time ago from some members of a team, a national team to be exact. And you know what the complaint was about? Junior is too strict about fitness. That was a complaint. He is too strict about fitness. Junior Murray is a fitness guru. And even at his age, I still think Junior is still in a better position physically than a lot of current and younger players in the game because of his fitness. He takes that very serious. What he eats, his workouts, all these sort of things. You'll watch Junior Murray and you'll still think that Junior is a current player because of his physique and how he keeps himself, because all about being physical. He does not coach without being part of the process. When he's coaching the youngsters, right, he is doing he's not on the sideline, and most coaches, he's doing what he wants them to do. That's Murray. But again, about the book, at 23, Junior became the first Grenadian to play Test cricket with the West Indies, and we know all that happened. When Junior became a Test cricketer, when he came home, the warm welcome he had. But then he also spoke about when he was discarded, how he was actually treated. Murray came home. Well, I wasn't in Grenada at the time, but Murray spoke about when he returned home, and basically he was basically on his own. He was on his own. I'm telling you, that's how we treat sometimes we treat it. So all for now, for example, we might be Kirani, blah blah blah, and for some reason Kirani does not.
They will come. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does not do the exceptional.
Then
Kirani will return home, and it's just as if Kirani never existed.
Yeah.
And Murray spoke about this. He spoke about this, folks. He plans to have a signing ceremony in New York sometime next month. And I think he also planned for other areas in the diaspora in particular. So folks who have books already, some of them have ordered their books. Some would have the opportunity to get their books. There's an opportunity, I think, on Grenada Day. He will be doing some signing of books and selling books at Grenada Day in New York. There are also some plans for Canada. But if you have the opportunity, and for those who still, you can go on to Amazon and order your book, Win Ball to Windies Cricket, Junior Murray. And it's also...
Michael, let me ask a question concerning the book. Let me ask a question concerning the book and what Junior said in terms of money. And we know today that's what it is. Players go places and play because of money. And everybody today agree with it. They agree with what, in spite of what, who, or where, or what the world is like today, people agree with it. But a few years ago, many years ago, when West Indies players went to South Africa, some of them are banned today, to this day.
Oh, yeah.
Because they went and play for money.
The Kerry Parker thing, yeah.
Because they went and play for money. And they banned today, but, it's okay today, but it's never okay then. And if it's money the game is about, and when you listen to this now, when you say that they don't get paid until they play a match, people have to feed their family. And if it's money it is about, then they go places and make the money. I know people have the reason why not to go based on the way certain people was treated and so forth, but in the end it's about money, right? We don't see that today.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, because he did mention something about he said there is a little attachment and loyalty to Team West Indies that started with the Kerry Packer. We have seen how disengagement with one's team and region can easily occur once the price is right and regional commitment is lacking. But there is something that he said there that is very interesting, in that he says the deplorable treatment of the old guards of West Indies cricket is most disheartening. Based on my own experience, I too felt that players were conveniently used when on top of their game, but disregarded and kicked to the curb when that usefulness diminished. No provisions were made by the West Indies Cricket Board or any other organization for the long-term support of former players, which is very, very true in the context of him speaking, because when they're top of the game, everything is nice and dandy. But there was nothing in place for these players, right? And he even spoke about that tour where the 1998-99 tour of South Africa, when they had this well, they call it a strike, when the players stayed in London before moving on to South Africa. I'm telling you, it's something you should try to read for yourself. I'm not reading it for you, but he spoke about that, some sort of behind the scenes of what took place. The disagreement between the players and the board, and this, that, and the other. And then I gave a preview of him talking about when they accused him of having a relationship with the spouse of one of the selectors, and he was dropped because of that, and all this sort of thing. And Murray had to put those things to rest. And I think the autobiography is timely, because it gives insights into what was really going on and how it affected him too. Because he said that up to this day, these things really affected him in terms of his his personality and these sort of things. Because deep down that a lot of things they were saying were not true, but somehow they took on wings and and wheels, and they were able to drive, fly, and rumors and because and there again, because of Murray's disposition, where he does not get involved in this sort of chatter and things like that, those things took on its own life. So if he was the type that would have come out
to defend
at the time and defend at the time, but not just defend, but say, hey, this is not true, blah blah
it's
blah.
not true.
But Murray was the type, he would just say, hey, I'm not paying much attention to that. And those things went on as if it was really the gospel, and things like that. So, folks, West Indies is battling on 140 for 2. Well, I mean, England is 140 for 2. They lead by 99, so close to 100. It's good to see that West Indies passed the 400 run mark. It's the first time in a long time West Indies, it tests that West Indies have gone past probably 350. 400, but, it's good to see that the batsmen can hold on. And if they continue like that, there's a possibility that they can either win or they can be a drawn test. But I'm happy to see that they and I'm giving credit to what the players said after the first test, that certainly they and it seems to be a third wicket now. I'm just monitoring it. Well, they asking for it for a review. LBW. Yeah. It's some of the players arrived in England a bit late because of the hurricane affecting the region. So it affected their preparations for an acclimatization of the English conditions, and especially what we call the Indian summer. That's the kind of weather that England has. Indian summer.
Summer,
Yeah. So it affected them a bit. And they were still getting into the groove. So, and they said so, give them some time, and we see now the result. That's how they were able to apply themselves both bowling and batting. And look what a respectable score in the second innings, and it appears that the guys are and a pretty inexperienced team, because some of the guys pretty much young players,
Young players, yeah.
debut, probably less than 5 test matches under the belt, these sort of things. So it's good to see that those guys coming on. Rulian, getting back to the Olympic Games, and as we were saying that certainly for the Caribbean, the interest no doubt will be on the interest will be in the track and field, right?
Yeah.
The interest will be in the track and field. I don't know if we can make any bold prediction, because come next Saturday, the games will have started in earnest, right?
Yeah.
Although the track and field starts out until the 1st of August.
Until the 1st of August, yeah.
But opening ceremony will take place on Friday.
Yeah. And that also, Michael, it's something that will be so interesting to watch. I don't know of Olympics games that was done opening. That has been done in that manner. Everything is always in the stadium, right? Mm-hmm. So I think this is the first outside. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Outside that they ever had an opening like that, and the security of those games is going to be beyond you ever seen. It's going to be. It is going to be the most secure place in the world, probably. And that opening ceremony, especially when there's U.S. athletes involved.
So it's a what they say. It's the opening ceremony for the Olympic Games, Paris 2024, promises to be a truly once in a lifetime spectacle, taking place along a 6-kilometer stretch of the iconic Seine River at Trocadero.
Yeah. And that is very, very, high risk. However, it's going to be very interesting to see what they pull off. And we know that we talk about every country on the top the other country or top any other Olympic Games in terms of how the opening ceremony take place. And I think that's going to be certainly something to watch. And
all right, so it will be around 8:24 p.m. local time, which will be around 2:24.
2:20, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
2:24 p.m. Eastern time. In the afternoon of Friday, that's the opening ceremony.
Friday, yeah.
So let's say around 2 o'clock, 2:30 should be the opening ceremony. Because there's also the pre
stuff, a lot of stuff happening. Yeah.
So folks, so on Friday, I can't say that on that stream. All for now, I can only say that I'm hoping to look at it.
I know.
Just in case one of my folks looking at the stream and
something happened.
when they don't see me, they go back to the team. They say, "Hey, this is
what he said."
This is why Michael is not in today.
He's not here today.
all for now, I can only encourage folks if you have the opportunity.
But certainly, all eyes will be in Paris, and people. So it's something about the Olympic Games. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people who's watching, and including yourself, there is a sport I don't watch. I don't watch it, but when it comes to the Olympics, my eyes is watching it.
Well, hold on. Yeah. But there's no way, even though it's the Olympics, I'll be watching climbing and skateboarding and
that's what I'm saying. But it is interesting to see how, like the breakdancing. How do you score breakdancing? So kind of would like to know. Yeah,
that will have my interest. So I'll have an idea.
Yeah,
right?
An idea. And then you open up like what new next they're gonna bring, or what LA is gonna have, like what the new thing, not the cricket, but what new stuff they're gonna bring.
Well, remember what Mr. Key Joseph was telling us on the program, that in the Caribbean we probably have to start thinking of what sport we can bring to the table. What sport
I remember I said that on the show. I remember stating that on the show that I believe every country, every island and country should look into an Olympics, excluding from the track and field that most of us do, the boxing, the swimming, but something else. And if every country invests in one particular event, like a field hockey or for women, definitely it will be really good to see a soccer, a football team in there. I don't know if there's any Caribbean football team I've ever been in the Olympics. Maybe women, maybe not men.
Women. Haiti was Haiti, Cuba. There have a few of them that would have.
Jamaica too. Right? Didn't Jamaica have that team?
Yeah.
So it would be nice to see definitely a different sport to see that. And if every island take up that sport and invest in it for the next 4 years or next 8 years, or depends on if the other games will host it. But there's some sporting that is locked in with the Olympics. It's locked in. There's no way you can get rid of it. There's no way we go to and introduce them. Let's play marble or something in the Olympics. Like, you know what I mean? Like those type of things will happen. But I think there'll be something like a frisbee. Frisbee football will be interesting. Maybe a flag football. We can do we can do the original actual football, like a flag football will be interesting. Maybe on the women's side. Things like this is going to be really interesting. That it is time to introduce some sporting, and even Ministry of Sports also should tap into some of the Olympic events they're having and get it into the schools. Put it into the schools so they can do a lot of this stuff. And then I see it happen a lot out here. And yes, we have the facility and so forth, so that makes a big difference. But a lot of this games and stuff that is Olympic sport is in high school out here. We play our own like a marble and see what happens. This is what we know.
Michael Shopman says, speak to the introduction of T20 and other shorter competition. If there's a correlation on the inconsistent West Indies performances in Test cricket, where players are attracted more to the shorter games because of the financial returns. Yes, guys. So let's wrap it up for today. It's just got past midday. I want to thank you for being part of us. Hopefully next week, God's willing, we can talk about the opening ceremony. We should have some images and blah blah blah. For those who would have missed it, we certainly will try to have some of the videos and images of the opening ceremony. Seems as if West Indies seems to be on a roll. So 144 for 3. That's it. Yeah. England lead by 103. Yeah. 103. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rudian.
So it was a pleasure being on, and I'm certainly looking forward to talk sports again next week.
Okay, thank you once again.
Have a good one. We'll speak during the week. We'll talk.
Okay, no problem.
All right, have a good one.
All right, thank you very much, folks. That's Rudian Sylvan live in Toronto, Canada, where they had a lot of heavy rains for the week. Yeah, flooding. Thank you very much, folks. See you next week, God's willing, where we have another program. Hopefully, with all the little inklings, the cloud strike and all of that gone away, and all the little technical glitches that we had over the past few days have gone. But nevertheless, thank you for viewing. Hope to see you next week, God's willing. Until then, have yourself a pleasant weekend.